मैं बिना विलंब के अपने अगले यशस्वी वक्ता प्रोफेसर केसी पांडे जी, विभागाध्यक्ष दर्शन शास्त्र विभाग, लखनऊ विश्वविद्यालय लखनऊ को हार्दिक अभिनंदन करते हुए विनम्रता के साथ अपने उनका वक्तव्य प्रदान करने के लिए आमंत्रित करता हूं कि वो कृपया आए और अपना विद्वत्पूर्ण वक्तव्य से हमें अनुग्रहित करने की कृपा करें। सर,
So, very good afternoon to everybody. And let me start my lecture.
जी जी
Thanks to invite me, Professor Sasi Singh Ma'am and Dr. Pitamba Das of Philosophy Department, Kasi Vidyapeeth. Basically, what I'm going to do here is to finish my talk within time given to me. And for this purpose, I have chosen the topic which is given already, that is philosophy in NEP 2020. And I have taken those points which are mentioned in NEP 2020 in the context of philosophy. So the thoughts which are there in NEP 2020 regarding philosophy, that is what I'm going to reflect on. And basically, I'm going to emphasize on philosophy in two aspects as mentioned in NEP 2020, and that is philosophy directly as mentioned and philosophy as इनडायरेक्टली मेंशनड. सो दो तरह से फिलॉसफी की चर्चा होती है अपनी राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 में. और वो दो तरह से ये है कि एक तो कुछ डायरेक्ट रेफरेंसेस हैं फिलॉसफी के बारे में, और दूसरा है फिलॉसफी जो इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में चर्चा में लाई गई है. इन दोनों के संदर्भों में बात इतनी ज़्यादा है कि सारी बातों को तो समेट नहीं सकते यहाँ पे, बट वट एवर द पॉइंट्स आर रिलेवेंट आई वुड लाइक टू पुट हियर. एंड those points basically are many, but I would begin with the initial points as to how philosophy is relevant in NEP 2020. And the first point basically is that according to NEP 2020, there is a growing demand of humanities and arts in India, and this growing demand basically is there because India is a developing country, and it is going to be developed country soon. And since it is going to be a developed country soon, and it is the largest economy, that is the third largest economy in the world after China and after America and China. India is going to emerge as the third largest economy of the world. In in a developed country, there is a need, and there is a demand for humanities and arts, and in that context, it is supposed in NEP 2020 that the philosophy will grow in coming days. So this is basically golden opportunity for philosophy to grow in India more developed manner. This is what I feel that it is a good sign that philosophy has been taken in the right spirit in national education policy. Now, one word which is very much relevant in NEP, and that is critical thinking. The critical thinking, the critical thinking basically is philosophy defined as. Many philosophers have defined philosophy as critical thinking, and that is why when it has been emphasized that new education policy emphasizes on critical thinking, that means that philosophy basically is given due importance in NEP. So it is mentioned in new education policy that it is not important only to educate people, but it is important as to how to educate. So how to learn is a very significant notion in new education policy. So how to learn basically involves two aspects. One is critical thinking, and other is problem solving skills. So problem solving has to be taken as a key factor in concept of the purpose of education. And let me say that I'm concentrating on only NEP 2020, and I'm not talking anything from my imagination. So I think if I could bring out certain features which are written in NEP 2020, and that I suppose that will be good for philosophy scholarship in India. And if one point I could raise in this half an hour marathon lecture, then I suppose that the benefit of lecturing would be good for those who are giving their time to listen to my lecture. So the purpose of education has been delineated in new education policy, and it has been shown that the education must build character, enable learners to be ethical, rational, compassionate, and caring. And that is why it all has to be inculcated ethical thinking from the point of view of gainful and fulfilling and employment orientedness has to be there. So these things, the ethical pattern has to be combined with the financial and economic thinking. That is basically very much emphasized in this new national education policy. This is one of the significant aspect. And then what is the aim? Aim, what I found while reading this NEP 2020, I found that NEP 2020 mentions clearly that by 2040 we have to we have to achieve two things. Number one, that is India is quote unquote second to none in the world uh, in the field of education, and number two, equitable access to the highest quality education for all learners regardless of social and economic background. So that means that the education must reach to the poorest of the poor, and this has to be seen in the context of Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. So that is the second feature of new education policy, keeping in mind the target 2040. Then the aim of the education basically is to get what Indian knowledge system aimed at earlier. So as we all know that Indian knowledge system earlier aimed at the pursuit of jnana, pragya, and satya. These are the words mentioned in NEP. That is, jnana, pragya, and satya was basically always considered in Indian thought and philosophy as highest human goal. So you can see that how philosophy comes here. And the aim of education in ancient India was not to just emphasize on acquisition of knowledge, but basically the knowledge was defined as ya vidya sa vimuktaye. So we have to achieve such knowledge which basically is liberating knowledge. Next, we find that in NEP, it is based on the principle that education must develop not only cognitive capabilities but also foundational capacities. And what are those foundational capacities of higher order and cognitive and critical thinking? Are the aspects of this NEP target, but it holds that this has to achieve through social, ethical, emotional, and and respect for elders. These elements has to be inculcated in the child from the very beginning. So the dispositional knowledge has to be there in the context of Indian value system. Next, we find that Indian education system basically has been mentioned in NEP, and it is joy to read NEP 2020 that thinkers such as Charak, Susruta, Aryabhatta, Varamihir, Bhaskaracharya, Brahmagupta, Chanakya, Chakrapani, Datta, and then Madhava, Panini, Patanjali, Nagarjuna, Gautama, Pingala, Sankardeva, Maitreyi, Gargi, Tiruvalluvar are mentioned basically. They have been mentioned in NEP 2020, and it has been mentioned there that these people they have contributed significantly in the field of mathematics, astronomy, metallurgy, medical science, surgery, civil engineering, architecture, shipbuilding, and navigation, yoga, fine arts, chess, and many more. So these are the fields, and these you can see that these are the fields, and many of which you can find in philosophical traditions of India. Then we find that again, uh, and we find that there is a mention of Indian culture and philosophy, and it has been held that Indian culture and philosophy has significant influence on the world, and that is why we can claim that in world knowledge system we Indians have rich legacies, and now we have significant knowledge system with us which we can contribute to the world in future. I feel that it has been asserted time and again in NEP that there is a lack of inculcation of Indian ideas in the world in the past, and there is a need that the world must come to know that the legacy of Indian knowledge system, including philosophy, was great. As you all know that in the past, and till the very few years back, it was uh, uh, it was um, it was the view of the West that India has altogether different kind of philosophy, and some philosophers, some Westerners have criticized Indian philosophy as not philosophy but as theology, as religious thinking, which basically has to be contended from this perspective, from this aspect. And now there are many Indian philosophers who have shown that there is argumentative philosophy in India, and it was wrong on the part of West to say that and hold a prejudiced view about Indian philosophy. Indian philosophy less is not having less depth than any system of philosophy in the world. And now the time has come for us to show to the world the real genuineness of Indian philosophy. And I suppose that this has been mentioned in new education policy, national education policy. Now, there is something new which has been emphasized in NEP 2020, and that is about teaching profession. So, it has been mentioned in NEP that teaching profession basically has to be respectful and dignified profession in India, and for that purpose it has mentioned clearly that the teacher taught ratio should not be much, it should be less, that there should be less students in the class, not more students in the class, and teachers should not be overburdened with the class hours. So it should not be measured that if you are a particular teacher of a particular university, then you'll be given at least 20 hours of teaching, 25 hours of teaching. So hours of teaching is not significant. What is significant as is that how much are you teaching, what kind of education you are inculcating among scholars. If you are giving less hours of teaching, then you can study much and you can contribute much. This has been mentioned in NEP, but what I feel that currently there is a need to think about as to how can we teach better as compared to how many hours we are expected to teach. So for that purpose, each teacher is expected to build up his or her own knowledge in the context of current research is going on in the field of philosophy, not only in India but also in the world. Then education system rooted in Indian ethos has been emphasized. High quality education to all has been emphasized, and it has been emphasized that if we emphasize our heritage, Indian heritage, then India will emerge as a global knowledge hub. And what is emphasized more next is from the philosophical perspective, we can say that in India, the language system, there is a rich language system, and Sanskrit, there is no doubt that Sanskrit is the richest language of the world. It has been shown in NEP that Sanskrit has many uh, many texts available such voluminous text available in Sanskrit, actually, which is more than if we put Latin and Greek together. So Sanskrit has much volumes publications as compared to if you put two languages of West, that is Latin and Greek put together, and that is why there is a need to think that those persons, there are many, and due to the fault knowledge process in India in the past, that there are many, I can say, that they might be knowing Latin but not knowing Sanskrit. So there is a need to develop Sanskrit knowledge, and along with Sanskrit knowledge, there is a need to develop uh, regional language like Tamil, Telugu, Udiya, and other languages, Kannada, Malayalam, should be learnt instead of learning French, German, and Latin and Greek. There's no need to say that there is no intention to deny the learning of those languages. Of course, one can learn any language one needs, but at least knowing one's own native language has to be a dignified process, I suppose, and that is rightly said in NEP. Sanskrit has been mentioned in the context of three language formula, that is Hindi, English, and Sanskrit. And then Sanskrit has to be taught in two ways, that is simple standard Sanskrit and then Sanskrit through Sanskrit. So SSS, yes, and STS. There are two processes emphasized in national education policy for inculcation of Sanskrit language. And you know that development of Sanskrit is development of philosophy in India, because Indian philosophy cannot be learned without learning Sanskrit language. So wherever there is emphasis on the growth of Sanskrit language in NEP, basically that is indirectly emphasized about the growth of philosophy in India. So it has been said in NEP that knowledge of India basically will include knowledge from ancient India and its contributions to modern India and its successes and challenges, and a clear sense of India's future aspirations with regard to education, health, and environment. So has been knowledge of India, quote unquote, has been mentioned in NEP. And then Indian knowledge system basically includes tribal knowledge and indigenous and traditional ways of learning. So this has to be seen that tribal knowledge and indigenous knowledge has not to be ignored, and it is a wonderful feeling to read that the fields which are mentioned here in this context are mathematics, astrology, philosophy, yoga, architecture, medicine. So you find that philosophy mentioned here in this context, and then specific courses need to be started in the field of Indian knowledge system, including philosophy. Another significant notion here in NEP is basically teaching of philosophy in schools. It has been very much issue among philosophers, among so many groups, that in India philosophy need to be taught in schools. So it has been mentioned that an emerging course on Indian knowledge system will also be available to students in secondary school as an elective, so that you can see that Indian knowledge system, that is Vedic and Upanishadic philosophy, need to be inculcated in secondary school teaching as an elective subject. So in this context also we find that philosophy has been given due importance. So students will be taught logical and ethical thinking. Logical and ethical thinking in the early age of students, and the later years it has been emphasized that the themes of teaching will be such as cheating, violence, plagiarism, littering, tolerance, equality, and empathy. These are the aspects, these are the concepts which a little grown up child must learn from the perspectives of ethical issues and ethical practices. So, this is another aspect, and children must be taught Panchatantra, Jatak, and Hitopadesh. It's wonderful to find this mentioned in NEP that children must be taught Panchatantra, Jatak, and Hitopadesh. We all buy these books for our kids. Now it has been testified by Government of India that these books should be taught to children at the early age because a child's mind is tabula rasa that has to be imprinted with the right kind of ideas, and these books are really gem of books for children. Then it has been mentioned in NEP that basic ethical reasoning has to be based on Indian values. What are Indian values? That has to be seen in. There are many things that to be mentioned here in this context, but I'm not going to mention that. This will lack of time here. But I can mention that Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha of Buddhism are really significant issues, and the concept of dharma, which includes many kinds of vinaya, vidya dadati vinaya, and we have to inculcate respect to elders, respect to humanity. Such kinds of ideas are mentioned here in this context, and they are like respect for environment, helpfulness, courtesy, patience, forgiveness, empathy, compassion, patriotism, democratic outlook, integrity, responsibility, justice, liberty, equality. These are the values that they have found mentioned in NEP, and I was a little amazed when I visited Vienna that their value system is little different. So you are, unless you are asked to by someone to help, you need not help the person. This is not something which is accepted in Indian society. That if you help some other person, then it is regarded as a good thing, sadbhavana. But in Western system, that you, unless you are asked to help, you need not help. If you are tendering your help to person without asking, then I suppose that that is not regarded as a good thing. That is not regarded as value invest. But that is different from in. There are many things. Actually, one undergoes culture shock, quote unquote culture shock, if you visit abroad, that you find that people are guided by different value system. And then it has this NEP basically is designed in such a way that it shows that philosophy needs to grow in this country. So it says that NEP says that all curriculum and pedagogy from the foundational stage onwards will be redesigned to be strongly rooted in Indian and local context. And in this context, it has been mentioned that it will basically be designed to grow heritage, Indian heritage, custom, language, philosophy, geography. And philosophy has been mentioned many times, as our chairman of ICPR has mentioned. And it has been mentioned that philosophy department as one of the significant department of higher educational institutes in India. So all the higher education institutes like central universities, state universities, and IITs and IIMs, they will have philosophy departments, and this is something new for us. This is something new news for us. In fact, that philosophy as an important department in higher educational institutes in India. So we should basically talk about it, because unless you talk about it, philosophy departments must be opened in HEIs throughout India. And then value-based education has to be holistic. And it says, NEP says that value-based education will include the development of humanistic, ethical, constitutional, and universal human values of Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prem, Ahimsa, scientific temper, citizenship values, life skills, lessons in seva, and participation in community service programs. These all include that holistic education syllabus. It has been mentioned that teacher education has to be targeted at high quality content, and it has to be multidisciplinary. And in that context, it has taught that philosophy will play a major role, along with psychology, sociology, neuroscience, Indian languages, art, music, history, literature, and physical education. And philosophy in education has been mentioned time and again in NEP. So it has been mentioned that psychology, child development, linguistics, sociology, philosophy, economics, political science, as well as from science, education, mathematics, education, social science has to be developed. One very significant aspect of PhD scholars has been mentioned that PhD scholars will be expected to teach also in departments, not only research in departments, because teaching will give them actual experience which they are going to do in future. So this is also one significant aspect I found. And then I found that societal problems of society that all has to be taken into account rationally, and there has to be spiritual and intellectual satisfaction. Um, this also has been added in NEP. One thing which basically amused me, that I found that Department of Science and Technology DST, Department of Atomic Energy DAE, Department of Biotechnology DBT, and Indian Council of Agriculture Research ICAR, Indian Council of Medical Research ICMR, Indian Council of Historical Research ICHR, and UGC. They all have been mentioned in NEP, but we don't find the mention of Indian Council of Philosophical Research, that is ICPR. Why is this so? I'm amused basically to find this absence of philosophy institute, that is ICPR. So I feel that we philosophy academics need to focus much on growth of philosophy, and therefore we need to develop much philosophical influence so that ICPR also may grow, and along with the ICHR, ICSSR, ICAR, ICMR to that level. This shows that we need to work harder in the area of philosophy, though philosophy has been mentioned many times in NEP. Then what I found is that in language section in NEP is that language, there has to be apnapan in language. The word apnapan has been used, and the tone, perception of experience, familiarity, basically it all depends upon the relatedness of a particular person with a particular language. So that is why it has been emphasized the triple language formula. And then it has been basically mentioned in NEP that 197 Indian languages are endangered languages which are getting extinct through the passage of time. तो ऐसा हो सकता है कि एक टाइम आ जाए जबकि वो हमें अपनी रिच लैंग्वेज जो है वो उसका अस्तित्व खतरे में आ जाए. So we have to be very careful about language, and we have to be careful about the growth of our languages. Growth of languages are basically having multi-dimensional aspect. It is not the case that when you speak your language, you write your language, then only the language will develop. You have to show to the world, to the other language speakers, that your own language has a quality which need to be respected. Then, as I said, that philosophy department has to be strong philosophy department. The quote unquote, it has been mentioned that strong departments and programs in Indian languages, comparative literature, creative writing, art and music, and philosophy will be launched and developed across the country. So we can see that the golden days of philosophy are expected to come in near future. And there is a mention that Sanskrit Pathshalas will be established under the formula of triple language, and universities basically will focus on multidisciplinary teaching. And then this multidisciplinary research and teaching will also involve Indian knowledge system, and that means that the holistic multidisciplinary education will involve philosophy as well. And from these perspectives, in brief, I could say that philosophy has been given due importance in NEP. Now, this is responsibility of our fraternity, philosophy fraternity, to work hard to give respect to our discipline, to good research. Government has done enough. For this is now our responsibility to work harder for the respect of our discipline. Thank you very much for having me here, and I really enjoyed delivering my lecture. Thank you so much.